Let's play!
Hi guys, and welcome back to Let's Play Narcissu. We're on Route 1, Part 2. Okay, how about we go there first then? There? The clothes place next door. It was a large two-story building. One of those high-volume, low-margin warehouse-style outlets you tend to find along major roads. I'm sure we could find you something nicer to wear than that. Come on, I'm getting hungry. She didn't reply, but she didn't resist either. I was gonna have to start taking her silence as tacit consent. That is a bad thing to say, or we'd never get anything done. I let her inside. She remained silent, reticent, I don't know that word, surprisingly, expressionless, but she began to poke around and examine things. In outward appearance, she was unchanged, but her actions were subtly different. Internally, I thought, she did not seem to be the same cold, impersonal girl she had been when all she had to do was look at that what are these words? Stultifying TV. Again and again, she took something from her rack, scrutinized the price tag, and furrowed her brow. Again and again, she disappeared to try something on, and each time she popped back out to solicit my opinion. Well, I'd shrug. Looks okay to me. It's not funny? How would I tell? Dude, you're going about it all wrong. You don't tell a girl these things. And she'd think for a while, then go and try something else. She didn't smile once, let alone laugh or skip around, but I reckoned it was the happiest I'd seen her. Come on, you must have found something by now. Yeah, I'll take this. It was the last outfit she tried on. A pretty set compromising a wide-collared shirt and a short skirt. It was the sort of outfit you'd expect to see on a schoolgirl. That was actually an advantage. It suited the age she looked rather than the age she claimed to be. It wasn't what I'd expected a 20-something to choose, but I had to admit the effect was pretty sweet. Are you sure? I'm really not convinced about the skirt. Eh? Don't get me wrong, it looks good, really, it suits you. It's just, are you sure you'll be warm enough in it? Of course I shall. I don't mind the cold. As she protested, I thought I could detect a faint touch of pink in her pale cheeks. Could she really be blushing? The girl who normally never betrayed the first hint of emotion? That was something new. Later, we set off again. The silver coupe carried us along no less eagerly than before, although the exhaust system was now getting noticeably noisier. Next junction, come off and take Route 21. Right you are. She was talking at last. Should that be at last? I just keep finding little errors and it takes away from the immersion. Come on, guys, at last. Without her, I'd have been hopelessly lost. As it was, I even knew that we'd entered Gifu Prefecture when we crossed the river a couple of kilometers back. When not actively navigating, she'd reverted to looking out the window as usual. Except that she didn't seem to be staring into the distance anymore. She seemed to be looking at something in the wing mirror. She was doing something rather... What are these words? Surreptitiously? Like... immersion! Breaking! Like graham crackers in the hand of a baby! So it was hard to be sure, but I could have sworn that she was admiring herself. What? Nothing. Glad you like your new clothes so much. I don't really... Well, they're okay. She shoved herself back in her seat. For a matter of minutes, as soon as she thought I'd stopped looking, she leaned towards the mirror again. I guess she was a girl for all that. Given her habitual behavior, I have to say that this glimpse of vanity really struck me as rather sweet. Okay. Oh God, it says it's not responding. What did I do? Did I break the game? All I did was press the spacebar. Help? Okay. Well, okay. Oh no! This is not Okay. Let's... Oh, okay. Uh, well, let's load this and just see what happens if I skip ahead. Okay. What is it with visual novels and them just dying on me? Okay. Oh, here we go. Twilight. Well, first off, let me center this better. Okay. Down a bit. There we go. That was weird. Twilight. We were stationary at the roadside. We just finished our frugal supper. I wonder what they're doing now. I was looking at my wristband as I spoke. We were still wearing them. Those white plastic bands with our names and blood types on them. Probably tearing their hair out, don't you think? Probably. Our parents and friends, not to mention the doctors, would be frantic. Even if their concern was probably more to do with insurance and liability than any particular attachment to us, I still felt a bit bad about causing them so much worry. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, everyone. We're being kind of selfish. When you heard... When I heard what? When you heard you were going to die, did you cry? It was a rather sudden question. It took me a moment to collect my thoughts and a moment more to think back and retrieve the answer. No, I don't think I did. Were you angry then? Did you curse your fate? Do you wonder why it had to be you? I don't really remember. At first I hadn't really reacted at all. I hadn't been able to grasp what was happening. It hadn't seemed real to me at all. But maybe I had been a bit angry. One of the friends I'd been going to driving school with had bought himself a car. He'd been going around grumbling about how he'd have to take out several dozen loans to finance it. There'd been that guy who'd found a good job. The guy who was having to go back for retakes. The guy who got his girlfriend pregnant. The guy who got dumped by his. They all had futures. I didn't. I guess I probably did wonder why it had to be me. However much I told myself it was just my fate, it was still a tough fate to accept. I guess I was probably angry. What about you? How did you take it? Me? Yeah. Did you cry? Did you curse your fate? I didn't care. You what? I hadn't been hoping for anything anyway. I'd already given up. Oh. Suppose it would probably be easier to take if you gave up straight away. If you turn your back on the world, you'd miss out on all the pleasures life had had. But you'd avoid the pain, too. But surely that would be the hardest and saddest choice of all. I couldn't imagine being able to do it. She must have really felt she had no other option at all. I saw in this film, they said how wolves only live like 3 years. Wolves? I hadn't a clue where she was going with this. I was clearly missing something. But donkeys live 9 years. Sorry, I'm probably being really thick here, but what are you on about? The thing is, donkeys live longer because they're useful. That's just the way it is. She was staring out the window, speaking quietly and deliberately, in a voice tinged with regret. So that was how she rationalized it, how she'd managed to come to terms with her fate and give up on life. We drove along Route 21 in the winter dusk. White flakes were beginning to flutter down. At first they were barely visible in the fading light, but gradually they began to fall more and more thickly. Snow? Looks like it. It was. Already the verges were turning white. We were up in the mountains. Maybe we'd crossed the snow line. Whatever it was, the world was as white as far as I could see. This wasn't good. I hadn't looked that closely, but I seriously doubted this car had snow tires fitted. If the weather got any worse ahead, we could be in trouble. Does this area get a lot of snowfall? Huh? It's just that I'm not sure we'll be able to handle much more than this. So far there wasn't actually any snow on the road, but this area was particularly prone to it. We might well run into it. I had only the vaguest memories of the section of the driving textbook that covered winter conditions, Words like snow chains swam into my mind. I wonder if I had any. Do you know? We're coming up to Saikigahara. Yes, you already said that. What I want to know is, does this place get a lot of snow? I don't know. Her voice was heavy with failure. I feel slightly odd as well. It felt somehow wrong to hear her confess ignorance. I'd expected her to know as much as the prevailing weather. She seemed to know about other aspects of geography. Fair enough. I guess we'll just take it carefully. Yeah. A beach. We left the car up on the road and come down to have a look at the lake. A mighty wind was moving over its surface. The eddying snow caught therein was scattered across it and melting into the nigh-frozen water. And she was slowly walking through all that towards the waterline. It was a horribly familiar scene. How about now? You mean if you kept going, would that be a good way to die? It'd be easier than in the sea. How do you figure that out? Well, it's not as salty, is it? You won't float as much. You make a good case. I couldn't work out whether she was being serious or not. I'm not really sure she really knew either. She had paused while she spoke. Now she began to walk again towards the lake. Aren't you going to try and stop me? I don't need to, do I? You don't mean to die today. No. I suppose I don't. Couldn't be that much further to Owajishima. It wasn't a place I especially wanted to visit. Nor would it be fair to say getting there was an obsession. But we seemed to have acquired that as a goal. I didn't have to stop her. She just stood there, her hair whipping about, without taking another step towards the water. And I'm pretty sure that was the reason why. Route 8 to Route 1. I missed that. Keep going on to Route 1. Right. We've been traveling southwest on Route 8. This now merged with Route 1. According to my human atlas, we were heading towards Kusatsu. Are we still okay for money? She asked unexpectedly. Sure, we've still got about 30,000. Apart from our new clothes, we hadn't really bought anything but food, and that mostly cheaply. Why? Shall we take the highway then? Must we? Can't we just stick with minor roads? We could, most of the way. But we're going to have to take a toll road eventually. To get to the island, you mean? She was probably right. My memory for such matters was, of course, pretty flaky, but I knew there was a bridge to Owajishima, the Seto Bridge or something, wasn't it? And that I couldn't be free to cross. Okay, take the KG bypass by Kutsatsu. Alright. So we left Route 1 at Kutsatsu and picked up the Meishin Expressway a few kilometers south of the Seta interchange. This highway was in considerably better condition than the older roads we've been driving so far. There were no traffic lights and no blind corners. For the first time, I felt comfortable putting my foot down. I wasn't the only one. The speeds of some of the cars shooting past the fast lane were really rather unnerving. So I stuck to the left lane, at least till I got the hang of overtaking and worked out what the conventions were for indicating. He must be mad. That was with reference to the car that shot past us at a particularly breathtaking speed. We were merely cruising by comparison. I unthinkingly took my eyes off the road for a second, and they met the girl's. She was looking slightly perkier than usual. Rather than merely staring listlessly out the window, she was looking around with apparent curiosity. Of course, she was into cars, or knew a lot about them at least. I nodded towards the other car, which was merely a speck in the distance. What was he driving anyways? Come on, it's a quiz. Toyota Celica GTS. And that one that just overtook us? Oh my god, that is a crazy awesome name for a car. Citroën Xara. Wow, you're good. To be honest, I didn't actually know whether she was right or not. I was just pleased to see her apparently enjoying a conversation for once. That's why I was encouraging her. The blue one's an Unos. The red one's an Alfa Romeo. Oh god, some car guy's gonna kill me in the comments for saying that. She went on to identify the next two without prompting. I bet you can't tell me what that is, though. I was cheating. The vehicle I was pointing out this time was a lorry. Her face was as difficult to read as ever, but I thought I detected just a touch of frustration in it. Ha! I thought you wouldn't know. It's a Nissan Atlas 10. I don't believe it. You're incredible. So much for cheating. I really didn't expect her to know about lorries. What is a lorry? That is a word. I think it's British. That's British out of 10. And you're not even proud you know all this? Should I be? I would be. You know a hell of a lot. She fell silent again. I did think I saw a faint flush of pink return to her cheeks. I suppose she really did like cars. Do you want to have a go at driving when we get there? Eh? But I don't have a license. You won't need one. Not if we take a car down to the beach or something. That would be surely plenty. There would be surely plenty of remote places on an island like Wajishima. I reckon she'd enjoy driving this car too. Manuals are far more fun when you get the hang of gears. I'll teach you to drive if we can find somewhere good. As best as I can, anyway. I'm not that good myself. Okay. Holy man, we're now on chapter 6. We will start that next time. I'll read the first line so I can save. It's around the time of day when the sun begins to fade. We will see the sun fade next time, folks. See ya.